From the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
A real absence, though, of American leadership in the region, because I think that you've got these rockets going into Gaza from Syria and Iran, and we just haven't made a strong enough presence in that region to have people be afraid of this country. And so I think there's a sense that they can get away with anything they want to get away with.
Cokie Roberts? Wow, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, folks. In the next segment, we'll be talking to Bill Donahue, president of the Catholic League. You're not going to want to miss that. He'll be here in studio with me. But Cokie Roberts saying people aren't afraid of this country anymore. They think they could get away with whatever they want to get away with. Whoa, knock me over with a proverbial feather. And she's right. She's absolutely right. How dare she have the leeway to say that, though, on ABC on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. I'm quite shocked, frankly, but good for her. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Now, Ronan Farrow, who I guess has a show because they think he's Frank Sinatra's son and he's Mia Farrow's son. Mark Regev, the Prime Minister's spokesperson, Israeli Prime Minister's spokesperson, I don't know why he even goes on MSNBC. Why would he go on with Ronan Farrow? But he did, and Ronan Farrow tried to make the point that I guess Erin Burnett, and I tweeted this out last night, Erin Burnett sat there and said, oh boy, what was this? She questioned, Israel, that it's self-defense, if Israel's killing civilians, and how can it be self-defense? And I'm so sick of it. And only one Israeli civilian killed, and it's a tote board to them. It's a tote board. And Israel's stronger. Why should they be able to be stronger? Maybe we should arm the Palestinians, right? Well, listen to this from Ronan Farrow to Mark Regev.
So, Mark, attacking that clinic, the mosque that was recently struck, the head of police's house that killed, I believe, 18 people and injured 50, that's all just an unavoidable consequence of trying to target terrorist targets.
Let's be clear, if you use the example of the head of police, it's not like he's, from the New York Police Department. This is the head of internal security of Hamas. He's the man that enforces Hamas's iron fist over the people of Gaza, where they've got this, Islamist government and they stamp out all freedom. He's not a police officer in the American sense of the word at all. He's more like a police officer that we knew from the old days of the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, educate Ronan Farrow, please. More.
We didn't want to see in that strike non-combatants get hurt, and that's why specifically in that strike we made an effort. We warned in advance with early warning. We've got this system where we call it a knock on the roof. We use a firecracker or a large explosive that doesn't hurt anyone, just to make a noise so people know innocent civilians should vacate that premises. And we are not happy that in that attack there were non-combatants who were hurt. For us, every non-combatant who is hurt, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, I'm sure Ronan Farrow was totally unconvinced. Ronan Farrow would rather defend the right of Hamas to indiscriminately fire rockets at Israeli civilians on purpose. Hey, they got to do what they got to do. After all, they're oppressed people. They're occupied. Bill Donahue coming up. Don't go away.
It was intended to take the roar out of America's roaring 20s, but instead its passage divided the nation and began an era of bootleggers, speakeasies, and rum-running gangsters. When ratified in 1919, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution outlawed the manufacturing, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquors. Consequently, organized crime was quick to step up and quench the thirst of an eager nation. The Volstead Act gave federal agencies the legal authority to enforce prohibition, but with an average of only 30 enforcement agents per state, the illegal liquor flowed freely. By 1925, in New York City alone, authorities estimated over 100,000 illegal bars were thriving, with customers consisting of friends, neighbors, and lawmakers alike. Still, some law enforcement became famous fighting the booze trade. One was Elliot Ness. As a top agent of the Bureau of Prohibition, Ness led a team of men known as the Untouchables tough and incorruptible, they brought down Chicago bootlegger and mobster Al Capone. But bowing to public pressure in his 1932 presidential campaign, Franklin Roosevelt endorsed the repeal of prohibition. It was later reported, with the Depression in full swing and national morale at rock bottom, then President Roosevelt remarked, "I think we could all do with a beer." With the passage of the 21st Amendment on December 5, 1933, Prohibition was officially repealed, making the 18th Amendment the only amendment in the U.S. Constitution repealed by the passage of another. Still, even with the repeal of Prohibition, many states chose to remain dry, the longest running of which was Mississippi, who didn't repeal their self-imposed prohibition until 1966. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.